What's going on, everybody? Frank from 5am Ramen, and I am back in Osaka. I love Osaka, love coming down here, and the last few years I've done more mini Osaka trips. Haven't had a chance to put out a big Osaka Ramen video, so that's what this video is all about, remedying that. And as such, we are visiting Osaka's #1 ranked ramen restaurant. And you know, last time I was here, at least for a bigger trip, there was another ramen restaurant that was ranked #1 in Osaka. So let's just say things have changed since I was last here for a big trip, and I'm super excited. #1 Osaka ramen restaurant. Let's get to it. So I am making my way to Kadoya Shokudo. Again, this place was not at the top of the Osaka ramen heap last time I was here. And it's so interesting. Kadoya Shokudo has a history. Maybe some people would say they are claiming their rightful place in the world of Osaka ramen. Whereas when I was here some time ago, it was Jinrui Menrui that was at the very top, and they are a young ramen company. So it's kind of like the old guard versus the new guard. Today though, all about old guard, at least the first place we're visiting. Even though they are, let's say, part of the old guard, they bring a modern approach and flair. And I can't believe I haven't been to this place up until now, but here we go. As I sometimes do, here I am recapping in a park and looking with this jacket here, kind of like Dracula. Now, Kadoya Shokudo, I did decide to order 2 ramen, and I was going back and forth between whether I should or not, and I was like, you know what, I'm here. Even though the line wasn't crazy long, I waited about half an hour in line. I was like, I'm here, I'm gonna order 2. So I got the chuka soba and also the tsuke soba. So the chuka soba is basically their go-to. Classic ramen, chicken forward, soy sauce powered, delicious bowl. Now, one thing I'm always reminded of when I come down to Osaka, and let's just say West Japan, is how much of a sweet tooth they have. That was a sweet tasting bowl. They like their soy sauce sweet down here. And if it's not sweet enough, they're throwing in things like mirin or even sugar to give their food a certain sweetness. I'm personally less about having ramen that is that sweet, but it was an amazing bowl. And if you got a sweet tooth, this one is for you. Different cuts of pork for the toppings, beautifully cut negi or spring onions, and of course, super sweet memma or bamboo shoots. This is an exaggeration, but I felt like those memma were like little candy canes or something. Noodles on the thinner side, relatively soft too, and really soak up the soup. You see these sort of noodles in a lot of lighter soy sauce powered chicken leaning soup ramen bowls. And it was delicious, but my personal preference was for the tsuke soba. And a lot of people order this. Those noodles were thicker, more slippery, and to me, the soup for them was more balanced because you didn't only get the sweetness. As you often get with tsukemen or tsuke soba, there was sweetness alongside sourness and also saltiness. And it was strongly flavored, more so than the chuka soba, but I feel overall it was better balanced. And maybe for me, it was just because there was less of that sweetness front and center. Chicken oily deliciousness. That was the game changer for me. Delicious tsuke soba. And, you know, one thing I noticed about Osaka and maybe Kansai in general is customer service can be very good. Sometimes in Tokyo, you might have a more grumpy, let's say, ramen shop chef. But Kadoya Shokudo, great customer service to the point where you wouldn't guess that they're the #1 ranked ramen restaurant in Osaka. Not that it should get to people's heads and they should start behaving arrogantly, but it's nice to see that it hasn't gotten to their heads. This is high-level stuff, and the tsuke soba was, for me, personally, the better bowl. And how does it compare to Jinrui Menrui, who I guess technically were dethroned, at least if you look at Tabelog? They're different bowls. Jinrui Menrui takes a different approach to their ramen and known for really great quality noodles and massively sized pork chashu. So even though they're both, let's say, versions of Takaida or classic Osaka ramen, I think they just do it differently, and it's apples to oranges. It's hard to compare. All you need to know is that the tsuke soba was amazing, and I definitely recommend, if you're visiting Kadoya Shokudo, to order that one. Okay, bowl at Zagin. Now, I should say I've actually been to their other branch, which serves more niboshi or fish ramen, but this is their honten, their flagship shop, and they're known for rich chicken ramen with some modern touches. and I'm joined by my friend Steven.
Hey, YouTube. It's the first time I've done this.
Well, hopefully, maybe not the last. I'll drag you. I'll drag you into another one in the future. And Steven lives here in Osaka, and yeah, I was like, hey, let's grab a bowl. And yeah, what did you think? It was a rich chicken ramen with a sort of frothy top layer, very modern, and with, I guess, a smooth tasting but also clean tasting soup. What did you think?
Well, I'm not the ramen expert that you are, so the best I can say for it is that I'll be back again, especially because I work right down the road, so I can be their lunch crowd.
That says it all. It was great enough that you're like, I'll be back. And it's interesting. You can tell, like, with the interior, the presentation of the ramen, they're definitely going in a more modern angle, right? Or taking things in a more modern way. And there was fried gobo there on top too, right?
Oh, that's right. That was delicious.
Delicious, very unusual for ramen restaurants to do that. And the chashu is very nice, chicken and pork. Chicken, of course, to match that rich soup, and thinner noodles. And a big highlight for me, and probably for you as well, was the meat sushi. I can see
Nikuzushi?
Nikuzushi, yeah, if we were to translate it.
That's always a plus.
Very, very high quality, melts in your mouth. I know everyone says melt in your mouth, but it literally melts in your mouth. Very nice cuts of beef.
Yes, it was definitely.
And yeah, I think what else is there to say? Zagin. The only thing I'll point out maybe is that I love Osaka and visiting Osaka ramen shops because I'm always reminded when I walk in, like, how talkative people are. Just within 5 minutes, the guy, I think, remembered me, or he said, I remember you when you visited our other branch, the fish-based ramen branch, about, oh my God, that was a long time.
Now that you mention it, the fish-based ramen, I think I might have been with you that time even, because that was like 4 or 5 years ago before COVID.
I think you're thinking of Sanku. Remember where they have actual fish in the ramen? This place, I think I might have gone by myself just because they were doing non-fish ramen on the day. They were doing a special limited time anniversary bowl.
Whether it was the same place or not, I can't say at this point. I'm getting old.
We're both we gotta go back in the video footage actually and like check it out. But regardless, Zagin was delicious. I think we can both agree, and it made things even more enjoyable with the friendly staff. It was more like a dining experience. A counter setup, everything. You feel a little more pampered, I think, there than you would at the normal ramen restaurant.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was definitely had a more relaxed kind of feel, I think, than a lot of the other places we've been to in the past.
Very welcoming, and perhaps made the ramen more enjoyable as such. Thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Frank.
We're deciding whether we're gonna grab another bowl. We'll maybe have a few drinks and then go from there.
Sounds good.
So I couldn't help myself, had to get a fourth bowl after being a little bit full after those beers. I took a break, got back to my hotel and said, you know what, I should do one more. And what better a place to have that fourth bowl at than Fukuryu Ramen Wadachi. And Wadachi is actually a place I've been to in the past here in Osaka. I've had both their rich chicken ramen and also the one I ordered tonight, their Mazoba. And the Mazoba was delicious. This is exactly how I personally like my Mazoba or soupless ramen. Thick noodles to mop up a beautiful sauce. And the sauce here, like, they describe it as something that's junky. Often in the ramen world here in Japan, they'll say like this style can be a junk food because of how much calories it might have or how greasy it is. And this was definitely assisted by grease, but it wasn't that heavy. And if it was heavy, it was very well balanced to the point where you didn't feel like it was heavy. I liked how it was salty, it had a strong soy sauce seasoning, and a good amount of spice as well. And because of that spiciness, it really reminded me of a Taiwan Mazoba. Taiwan Mazoba will use similarly sized noodles, it's spicy, there's also garlic chives in it, and fishiness. In Taiwan Mazoba, which is not from Taiwan by the way, it's a Japanese soupless ramen style from Nagoya. In Taiwan Mazoba, they will have fishiness from bonito fish or katsuobushi. Here, the fishiness came from niboshi or dried sardines. And the dried sardines were certainly a big part of the dish, but not insanely fishy. In other words, very well balanced between the fish and that sort of pork greasiness. But balance too was achieved with the soy sauce being there as well. I like the fatty pieces of pork, the garlic chives again, and beautiful raw white onions for crunch. I forgot how much I liked this bowl because it's been a while since I went to well, this ramen shop and also ordered that bowl. So it was nice to revisit it. I'm curious if I even liked it as much as I did this time. And by the way, if you want a bigger portion of noodles, omori instead of namimori or nami, you can get that for free. And for reference, they have a Microsoft Word like document that describes 3 ramen in English. And also there was a miso ramen with crab. And I was curious about that one because I was just reading the English menu on the wall there. They're like, we don't do that anymore. It must have been a limited time thing. So heads up, if you go, you're an English speaker, you look at the menu there, the rich miso ramen, they just haven't updated that Microsoft Word file. Anyways, Wadachi, amazing ramen. I'm glad I got that one too. And there you have it, 4 amazing and high-ranked ramen shops in Osaka. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which one was your favorite. Did you have a favorite? They were all very different bowls, even though at the first shop, Kadoya Shokudo, a little bit similar just because it's under the same roof and also because both of them are similar styles of ramen. But let me know if there were any that stood out to you the most. Thanks so much for joining me here in Osaka. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, Frank from 5am Ramen signing out.